And it is so simple. I'm conscious of you, you are conscious of me. I do not say you are body to me, I am body to you. I say I know you means I am conscious of you. I don't say I am mind to you and mind is you are mind to me. Why we don't say that? Because body, breath, mind, intellect, ego are all matter. Matter is inert. Matter does not say that I know you. Matter does not know others. Matter does not know itself. It is totally unconscious. It has nothing to do with recognition, cognitive ability, and the knowledge. So when I say I know you, I am conscious of you, it means I am consciousness. And that consciousness does not change. So when I say I know you, I know your name and the form. And that name and the form comes from the matter, body. So name and the form means the body. Body is a matter. So science has reached to a stage where it says that the matter is energy. No doubt, we also agree matter is energy. That is Prakriti. But we say one more thing, that it is energy consciousness. Or you can say there is a consciousness and then there is a consciousness force. That consciousness entered into the matter, so called energy, and intelligently created the body, mind, and intellect to function in the world. But fact is that only the consciousness that does not change. Consciousness force changes. So when I separate, when I do the viveka between consciousness, unchanging identity, that is of the nature of knowledge, that is of the nature of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. No, no, but I'm moving my hand, so body is consciousness. Body is conscious of it. So it has borrowed the consciousness from the mind, and the mind borrows the consciousness. That is why it is functioning intelligently. Intelligently. What is the proof? When the mind is not there in deep sleep, I don't know the body and the mind. Greatest proof. Greatest proof. When the mind is filled with a lot of impurities, then it does not work consciously. That is the impurity of the mind. It is working unconsciously. It is working in the field of the change. When it is working in the field of the change, then we identify with the body. We say, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the. And the problem continues. Unending suffering. To bring an end to this suffering, so Eastern wisdom has to create those principles and concepts and ideas and the thought process by which we can enter into the state that is unchanging, that is Satchidanand, that is real self, that is the pure consciousness. So once we reach there, all these concepts, for a seeker who has realized the ultimate stage, who doesn't want to be a teacher, all those concepts are just useless. We drop all the concepts. We are already there. We know. Finished. Only because when we are a teacher, then we have to follow these principles in order to make others understand. Consciousness, unchanging and changing. So that change has to be negated. How negative? Negative, is not a negative term. That is neighbor's house. I negated it. The moment I branded that it's a It's a neighbor's house. It means it's not me. So I keep on exploring, contemplating, reflecting that this is not me, this is not me, this is not me, until I reach to a state where I cannot negate. What I cannot negate, that is the remainder. What is that remainder? That is I am. What is that I am? That is consciousness. That is the real self. That is the Sachidanand. That is all. That is the journey. That is the journey. So today, by practice, we look into that area. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Pay attention. Consciousness borrowed to the eyes. Mind understands. A little ego in the mind. When I say close your eyes, I'm referring I as a body mind complex. So eyes are closed and settle into a comfort zone. Why what I said? Settle into a comfort is always there. No, but my mind is jumping here and there. That is lane number one. You at every point you are recognizing what is happening within. That is the key. What is happening within? Again, I'm not saying that you become comfortable. You recognize cognition, cognitive ability of the mind. Why the cognitive ability? Because of the consciousness. One is consciousness in the mind, and one is the mind. Mind is a matter. But when the mind gets the consciousness, it starts understanding, it starts receiving the knowledge. But mind is jumping, lane number one. What we are doing, lane number two, putting the knowledge. Knowledge, we are not putting any imagination, hallucination. No, not at all. We are 100% clear. The comfort zone is always there. But problem is that how to recognize that. What is the problem? The problem is the mind is a heavily conditioned, where it is conditioned and how it identifies with the body. We say, oh, let us start with the body only. So you are aware of the neck joint, aware of the neck joint, means you know the neck joint by the name and the form. From the name and the form, we move to an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. By listening, the teacher goes into the head of the seeker to remove the ignorance. But even after removing the ignorance, the doubt pertains. That is where the contemplation and reflection are required. And when the doubts reverse into conviction, then another problem comes of the false notion. And that false notion can be removed by the practice. So now, what I just said, awareness of the neck joint, experience of the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. What do you mean? Experience of the mirage water is not right experience. That is why we need a knowledge. So we have a doubt, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Then we tell the mind, okay, look into the space. What is after that? Be aware of the space or darkness or emptiness or nothingness. At the same time, lane number one is active. Let it remain active. We do not participate there. That makes the journey successful. You see, we applied a lot of principles and you have been doing it, so it's not a big deal. Look at awareness of the shoulder joints, experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. I do not live in the sensation, comfort, and steadiness 24 by 7, so obviously it is changing. I experience now, but maybe after a few hours I may not experience. I lose that awareness. So we say it is changing, no problem. Then we go into the space, emptiness. We say, mind, calm down. Remain here. Live into that state of which is the absence of all the thoughts and ideas and the wrong notions you have. Just look into the space. Be aware. So, what is happening? We have to raise the cognitive ability, means our level of awareness. There are millions of thoughts, level of awareness goes down. It is scattered in millions of directions. But now, when you have a space, that is for that reason. You got it. So, looking at the hip joint, awareness of the hip joint, experience of the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So, we have a doubt. No doubt. Keep the doubt. We remove the doubt by conviction or look into the space to reach to a right notion. That is why we are doing the practice. Be very clear. So when you are clear by practice, you will be clear in dealing your personal, professional, social lives too. It becomes a play and a fun. Awareness of the body. Awareness of the body. Body, name in the form. Body is constantly changing. Like the mirage water, I see the body which does not exist. The body does not exist, yes. It's all energy plus consciousness. Oh. But the mind does not believe so easily. Doubt. So we remove the false notion. That is how any practice and every practice works. Then another challenge comes, lane number one enters with a big noise of unwanted thoughts and feelings and sensations. We do not participate. The moment you do not participate, discernment and dispassion go together. You don't do any practice in discernment and dispassion. You recognize. It's neighbor's house, I'm not going there. It's a lane number one, I'm not going there. I'm not participating. It's all happening in the mind, in the field of awareness, my dear friend. Lane number two, yes, so I should not think. No, you can think, but you think along the line of the principles. You may see that I'm not participating. You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is also okay. And the mind keeps on living into that state. That is the lane number three. That is also okay, but you do not participate in lane number one. Yes, we made the second step easier. That is being carefree. Being carefree of what? Of the thoughts and feeling and the past experiences. You see that we always use the past experiences. My experience of mirage water, blueness of the sky, and a long list. My experience of my honey, my parents, I have to examine. I take it for granted. Lane number two, we are putting the knowledge in the lane number two. It's not going to lane number one of the mind that we discussed. Lane number one, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Lane number two, you're learning and listening, putting the knowledge there. Basically, it is an intellect. And the lane number three is the realization. The knowledge is realized in the lane number three. But passing from the lane number two to lane number three, we have two big problems. One is the doubt, and the other is the false notion. How can you say I'm not the body? How can you say I feel the pain? Let me take care of the pain first before I take. And that is what the impurity is. Look at the very subtler level. We're not talking of anger, hesitation, duality, and a conflict in the mind, reaction in the mind. They have their basis, and the basis triggers. Lane number one takes over the intellect. Then what the lane number one says, intellect follows it, and the knowledge is realized. That knowledge is ignorance, that I have lot of stress, I have lot of problems, I am not able to solve, I am living in stress, etc., etc. That is also a knowledge. So being carefree, free from all the cares of the mind. If the mind cares with the knowledge, no issue. No, but how to recognize? So we resolve the doubt. How to resolve the doubt? Every thought coming from the lane one reaches to the lane number two, is examined, put forth into an action, and the thought disappears. You are done. But now the thought doesn't disturb you. That is the way to understand it. That is the way we become a mirage water. It's a false. Done. We don't think too much. Neighbor's house, we don't think too much. It's done. My name, I never repeat, no, remember my name, my gender. I'm single and married. Kids, you look at it, 99% time we are clear in the material world. We are not clear about our identity, who am I, and what I am not. That is why the journey is. Being carefree, that's another way to practice. So another question that the mind asks, what to do now? Nothing to do. No, but what do you mean by nothing? Just maintain your awareness. You are aware of the lane number one and the two. You are aware of the knowledge. You are not participating in the lane number one. You are able to maintain comfort and steadiness. Oh, is it possible? Yes. Go back. You rightly said, what changes overpowers the intellect due to the doubt and the false notion? And then it says, I have a problem. We brush aside. How? We recognize it's changing, it's not me. Mind is jumping from one thought to the other. Oh, it's changing. We don't pay attention what thought is coming. We say it is changing. Lane number two recognizes. And when it recognizes, you're not participating. When you recognize a neighbor's house, you're not moving there. But when you don't recognize, you want to recognize where is your house, pointing to the neighbor, it will not work. Now it works, causes stress and suffering, duality, anxiety, conflict, and confusion. How simple it is. How easy it is when you are sitting in the lane number two. So when that clarity is there, then only any mantra works. Mantra means you're replacing. You're just dissolving the lane number two. Another way, because you're dissolving the lane number two, there is a natural focus. One of the most important result of any mantra, is to gain a tremendous focus naturally within to be able to maintain your awareness on the journey in lane number two. So there are many mantras. There are mantras that brings a different perspective to the world. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. You are saying in your mind, that is another thought. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. So now you are still on the lane number two. Lane number two says this. Lane number two further goes deeper. No, what it means. Let everyone be happy. Now go to the knowledge. Happiness is our essential nature. It's if it is not my essential nature, it is the essential nature of every living species because everyone is looking for happiness. Whether they know it, including the mosquito, tiger. Oh, so if every living species, you see how you remove the dot? If every living species definitely is looking for happiness, I'm also living. Lane number two, the intellect from the back door. What is that impression? Oh, happiness is my essential nature also. Oh, that is why we are saying let everyone be happy. It means everyone is searching happiness. So now the mind comes, not my honey. She always or he always fights. Or that is his or her way. I have to change my way. What is this? We are diluting the wrong notion. What is the ultimate result? We live into that higher awareness. So now we do not force the mind to focus. There's a natural focus. During the day, you meet so many people. Everyone is looking for happiness. You are aware of that, so you are happy to meet others. Others are not happy to meet you, that's okay. That is their way. That is the message in this mantra. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve santu niramaya. Let everyone be in the state of the well-being. Anything that is a living being has some consciousness, and the consciousness is searching that state of the well-being. Same example, same knowledge. Am I looking for well-being? Yes. Who doesn't? So my approach to the well-being, living in the world, should be different than simply habitual, impulsive, blaming and complaining others. You recognize that. So when you recognize it, there is no question to blame, complain, react. If that happens, the lane number one dissolves. That is the journey. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let everyone be blessed. Does existence do unjusted? It gives favor to one and favor to not others? Not possible. We both are the part of the existence. We both are the children of the same existence. And that existence always is a just. It gives an equal opportunity. In the impurity of the mind, we do not recognize it. So blessing is always there, yes. Not possible, false notion. Example, lane number one is very active. It returns again and again. It wants to overpower the lane number two. You have an opportunity to maintain your awareness, not to participate. Those people who are not aware the mind is a different lane, they do not get that opportunity. It is their choice. They are non-seekers, we are a seeker. So becoming a seeker is not at the physical level or by name in the form. It is happening in the mind. And the mind, I told you, lane number one is simple mind, two is the intellect, third is the highest. Lives in discernment, dispassion, and an experience. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Means ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. That means let none suffer from misery in this world. Are you with me? Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Let that simply means let none suffer from misery in this world. When there is no suffering for everyone, that is the goal of who we are. We forget that. When we forget, then there is a problem. That is what the ignorance is. So when we remove that ignorance from our life, we enter into the wisdom of live into that state of awareness. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. We have covered. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Lane number 1 keeps all the misery, suffering. Lane number 2 examines identification is the root cause. But then we re-examine and find out that everyone is seeking freedom from the suffering. That is so natural. And if that is natural, I must seek it. When you have that thought with the feeling, you are a great seeker. You are a great seeker. So let us recognize if what we say, let us recognize what we say the permanent, so-called the permanent peace, happiness, calm. So we equate it with the silence. So what you do, simple, move the mind inside the cave of your heart, singing Om. So as if your singing Om is pushing the mind deep inside the cave of your heart, mind seemingly appears to stop. deeper inside. There you drop Shanti. And after that, you do nothing. Check. Do nothing and examine. L1, lane number 1, you are not participating. Lane number 2, you have already done an action. Then you are in a state of doing nothing. So what we normally say, there is a self-absorption. If the self-absorption is there, live into that state. If it is not there, do it again. What to do? Mind is pushing by singing Om Shanti, and mind says, I experience darkness, emptiness, silence, self-absorption. It's okay. No issue. So every time, normally it happens, the lane number 2 has certain thought, unknowingly we get carried away, and then we remember, we return. It's okay. It's a part of the journey. So the lane number 2 is 100% clear. It is aware. Moment, any thought. Moment, mind pushes you to the neighbor's house that is changing. You have one thing to do, singing, pushing the mind into the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops, Shanti, and then in silence, in emptiness. Any thought enters from the lane number 1 and you are not participating, that is also clear. You're not doing anything until lane number 2 interferes, overpowers with a variety of experiences. Then you know. You push the mind singing on inside the cave of the heart. Mind seemingly stops, you drop Shanti. and check, examine. You have a new level of realization in the experience of self absorption, a sense of emptiness or a blankness or a space. And then another level of examination that we are able to continue. And it all depends on our past impressions, intensity, being a seeker. I'm just giving a reference. Shanti. This is very simple and easy step. Anytime you can pick up this step in your daily living also. You're talking to anyone, for example, your honey, and mentally you are pushing the mind with an Om Shanti. Because you are talking to the honey, the lane number one has already an impression about your honey. They pop up, and it will help you recognize the way our mind treats, responds, reacts to a person. So, what is happening? It is happening in discernment and dispassion. Shravanam, That was the first part. You already heard it. So your intellect is doing the mananam, sometime non-verbally, silently. Why? To have a conviction, to remove the doubt. And the third nitidhyasan, to remove the false notion. False notion, wrong notion, ignorance, suffering, blame, complaint, duality, conflict, anger, hesitation, frustration, fear. They all are wrong notions. Shanti. Shanti. Or even Om Shanti dissolves. Shanti. And now we even leave that saying Om Shanti. You have already left it. I could see that. Because after saying it, you are totally absorbed. Just for the sake of understanding, you have left it, but now you are fully aware to play with lane number 1, 2, and 3. Lane number 1 continues to pop up with the kind of the thoughts unwelcome, uninvited, and they are coming from the past impressions. Prarabdha, Sanchit karma. So let them come and go. You're not participating. So when we are not participating, after recognition, we are living in the state of dispassion, discernment. Result is natural of calmness of all the six treasures. That will make the journey beautiful. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. We'll share